Longtime viewers of my vlog will recognize the little blue table. This is our segment that we're calling Attic Kitchen. Today we're going to talk about garum, which is made from fish guts percolated in vats in antiquity, and it gives a taste to food called umami. So you have 5 taste receptors. There's a salty, there's sweet, there's bitter, there's sour, and then there's umami, which is the taste, the savory taste that we're adding to our dish today. You could have used ancient garum, but instead today you can use Thai fish sauce. We're going to use anchovy. That's a required ingredient in the dish. So make sure you get anchovy. And if you are vegan or vegetarian, you can use a pickled plum paste called umboshi to get a similar umami flavor. So one or the other in your dish today. What is our dish today? It's my go-to comfort food, aglio olio e peperoncino. Garlic, extra virgin olive oil, and chili peppers. And the tools you'll need are one big flat knife for smashing the garlic, a big pot for boiling the pasta, at least 4 quarts, a pasta stay water go or a colander, and optionally a pan big enough for all the pasta to go into. I have a wok here, but you can saute ingredients in a small pan and then add them into the drained pasta afterwards. So that's another option. For the ingredients that you're going to put into the pasta, well then here's your shopping list. You just need one fresh ingredient, and that's a garlic. You're going to need 4 or 6 cloves, not the whole head, but it does need to be fresh. And then you're going to need extra virgin olive oil, about 1/3 or 1/2 cup. Then chili peppers, red hot chili pepper flakes, anchovies, a small tin. That's the garum, you need that. Salt, so if you have a big thing of Morton's, and pasta, 1 package of pasta, 500 grams. This is going to be enough to feed like 3-4 people. And the one thing you need to do here, preparing ahead of time, is just slice the garlic. Now you're going to have to slice it, use the flat end of the knife to smash the garlic and then slice it thin. My technique is really hard to teach, so you'll have to just do it the old-fashioned traditional way. But once you get the garlic all sliced and the water is boiling, then you're ready. So the water is boiling, you add a handful of salt, I really mean a handful, heap it up in the palm of your hand. You need a lot of water, and it needs to be boiling. In the pan, you add the oil, or in your small pan, it doesn't need to be a wok. I would have added the pasta now, but I've made a mistake. I added instead a little bit more oil with the anchovies into the pan. You want the water boiling at a high heat, and you want the oil at the lowest possible heat, because you're going to just kind of flavor the oil and let it simmer, and it's going to break down these anchovies until it's just a mush. So I should have added this first, but I'm adding it now. Pasta to the salty water. Once you add it to the salty water, set a timer to the time recommended on the package for al dente. If it doesn't say al dente and it tells you 10 minutes for the pasta, only cook it for 8. Cook it for 2 minutes less than what's recommended, or at the al dente. Then you add the chili pepper to the oil and to the anchovies. Give the pasta a little time to get soft on the bottom so you can stir it and get it all stirred into the boiling water so it doesn't clump together. It's good to have 2 spatulas, one for the pasta, one for the sauce. Um, but you're going to go back and stir the pasta a few times in this process. Your timer's going probably to around 8-10 minutes. Um, the the sauce is going, and then you add the garlic. You want to be careful with the garlic that it doesn't brown. So once the oil and the peppers start to bubble and pop a little bit, then you need to be careful. Got it on my fingers. Get that back into the pan. You can use a different spatula. Stir this around a little, get it started. The anchovies, after a minute or so, are going to be a little bit softer. They're going to start to break down. But again, you don't want to brown the garlic. So the lowest possible heat on a simmer. And I'm doing a little tappy tap tap on the anchovies. This is just after a few minutes, and you see it's already starting to break down. So you're not going to have big chunks of fish in the sauce. You're just going to end up with kind of a paste of flavor. And so I'm cutting so you don't have to watch the water boil. After a few minutes, you're going to go back and you're going to stir both the pasta and the sauce. So you can see it's bubbling a little bit. The anchovies are breaking down. The boiling pasta, that's going to get a stir again, but the water's getting a little starchy. I forgot to say this before when I was going through the equipment, but you need to have a clean coffee cup ready to save some of that pasta water. That's going to be valuable in the final stage of the process. But I'm just doing a little tappy tap to encourage the anchovies to break down and get a little more melty. Distribute it through the oil. It's my patented honed tappy tap technique. Different spatula now to stir the pasta. That way your pasta water isn't getting all oily and chunks of garlic in it. We'll mix when it's time. But you don't want the pasta to clump together. You notice it's really boiling, so I need to take the pasta, the sauce off the heat. So I don't, like I said, I don't want to burn anything, but I slosh it around. I see it's all broken up. It's disintegrating. I'll give the pasta another stir. And then after a few more minutes, it should, like I said, it should be about 8 minutes total, maybe 10. 2 minutes less than the package recommends. You're going to take the pasta off the heat. And you're going to put it in, oh, sorry, no, more important, you're going to use the coffee cup. Fill that coffee cup full of pasta water, that starchy, salty goodness. That's going to add the salty to the savory, but it's also going to add the starch. The starch is going to help the sauce, the oily sauce, bond to the pasta, and it'll give the pasta kind of a sheen to it. So that's the secret to good pasta. Even if this is an inexpensive meal, this is going to be a fine cuisine, mostly because we're adding that pasta water. Now you turn the heat up. I've taken the sauce off, You add the drained pasta back in. What in this case, if you don't have a big pan or a wok, what you would do is you would put the pasta back in the pasta pot, and you would pour the sauce on top of the pasta and do this stir, stir, stir. You put it back on the heat, so you had it al dente, and now here you're going to keep cooking it for a couple more minutes, basically stirring for like 3 minutes, and you're adding pasta water, and that pasta water is going to bond the sauce and the pasta together, and it's going to add that sheen. So it's going to look good. It's going to taste good. You won't have little bits in the bottom of the pan and not on the pasta. It's all going to be bonded together. You can add a little bit of more pasta water toward the end. Once all of the pasta water's been evaporated and kind of bonded, if you pour in half at the beginning, and then make sure that all of the umami, garlic, and peppery goodness is distributed equally through the pasta. Keep tossing the pasta over the heat until basically this is just to distribute and bond. Distribute it equally through the pasta and have it bond to the pasta. Doesn't look like much of a sauce, but it's really flavorful. This is my go-to comfort food, actually. So a little bit last of the pasta water. You can decide not to add the little bit more of the pasta water, but it does give it kind of a stickiness and a shininess that makes the pasta perfect. So all told, it takes about 15 minutes to make this dish. If you don't count waiting for the water to boil. Don't look at the pot while it's boiling. It'll go better. But the secret is to add a handful of pasta till it's like a handful of salt to the pasta water. That's the secret. To save some of that pasta water, to let the umami flavor, let the anchovies melt. What you're going to add to this, if you want a more meatier meal, is maybe a tin of tuna, but it's good as it is.